In Canada, driving under the influence, DUI, has been considered a federal criminal offense since 1921, punishable under the Criminal Code if the driver's blood alcohol level is higher than 0.08 within 2 hours of ceasing to operate a motor vehicle. In this video, we'll examine whether or not you need a lawyer in Canada if you've been convicted of driving under the influence. Keep watching. ADP versus DUI. An ADP is essentially an administrative charge, issuable under the Motor Vehicle Act. The law has changed in that in the past an ADP could only be issued if the driver had a reading that was higher than 0.08. Today, if the driver had a reading of exactly 0.08, they could receive an ADP. As is the case in the Criminal Code, the law covering ADPs also extends the offense to the time frame within 2 hours of driving. Although the law covering ADPs was initially aimed at drivers whose abilities were impaired by alcohol, it has adopted specific drug-involved offenses. For instance, it has imposed a prohibited level of 5 nanograms of THC per 1 milliliter of blood. Other limits are imposed for other drugs, including ketamine, cocaine, and methamphetamines. Hiring a lawyer. Hiring a lawyer for DUI offenses, or when you're issued with an ADP, or both an ADP and DUI, is key, especially given that DUI laws change over time. This is because there are very specific time limits that can have a major effect on your life when you surpass them. For instance, if you're charged with both a DUI and an ADP, your court date may be months away, but you'll still have just 7 days to dispute your ADP. Both charges also have very different rules and regulations governing them, including rules with respect to evidence. Your lawyer will ensure you comply with all obligations as early as possible, and will see if there are any flaws in the way your evidence has been collected or processed. They might be able to have specific evidence excluded, which could result in a reduction or dismissal of charges. Your future. Both charges can have a serious effect on your livelihood, especially if you're deemed to have committed a felony. This will increase the time that your license is suspended for, and will result in you having a criminal record. Any future employers who run background checks will have access to your files. Alberta Dui Penalties. The government of Alberta is currently proposing new penalties for drivers charged with a DUI. Bill 21, the Provincial Administrative Penalties Act, will grant police the right to give first-time offenders with a blood alcohol reading of 0.08 or higher a fine of $1,000. First offenders will also face a 30-day vehicle seizure and have to complete a mandatory education course. This would be in addition to existing penalties, which include a 12-month license suspension and the requirement to use an interlock system for 12 months. However, in the absence of aggravating circumstances, the driver will not be charged criminally. Under the new rules, those caught a second time will face criminal charges and receive an additional $2,000 fine. Finally, those who commit this offense a third time will face a $2,000 fine and will have to use an interlock system for life. If you're charged with a DUI or ADP, seeing a lawyer is always a good idea. This is because both charges have different rules and regulations, and in some cases you may need to act fast. A lawyer can help reduce or dismiss charges if evidence has been erroneously collected or if your constitutional rights have been violated during your arrest. So ensure you are as well advised as possible. Contact us today for more info. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.